Okay, y'all ready? Let's go ahead and start this show. Ask a tranny. Ask a tranny. Ask a tranny. Oh, oh. There you go. That's your pulled out of my ass intro for this week. Hey everybody, I'm going to break all my stuff. My name's Jamie French, and you're listening to the Approximate Podcast, another Friday show, Ask a Tranny. Good to have you guys here. We skipped last week because we didn't have enough questions, comments, or anything coming in on the burner line or the emails, so we had to skip it. I didn't want to force a show just based off of the, chat room that we have here. We've gone through that before, and it was a total mess. So here we are tonight. We have a lot of questions to get to, a lot of comments to get to. So before we get there and I start pulling up the emails, let's see who's all in the room so far. We got Navigatorture. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got the John Don. Oh, yeah. Excellent. Good to see you. Old Don, a good friend of ours. Woefully uninformed. Who's this? Woefully uninformed. You seem to be new to the group. I can't guarantee that's going to happen every time, but I try to start the episode of these questions and answer show, this Ask a Tranny thing, with I'll just pick an instrument and just rock something out real quick. Just pull it straight out of my ass. It's a little gimmick that we got going here. It's fun. And they're never any good. So, how's everyone doing tonight? I'm reading. You love the intro. Oh, well, that's great. That makes one of us. It's just me tonight. It's usually just me. Friday nights are kind of a hassle for my co-host, my normal co-host throughout the rest of the week, Orion Quest. During the weekends, starting Friday, he is usually playing a gig somewhere. He takes his drum kit, and he has several different money-making bands that he plays in. So he's not going to be here tonight. But I am. And so I apologize for that. Oh man. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive right into it. Now, this is our 7th episode, and for those who've been sticking around, usually the way it goes is I will do some emails and read off some stuff on the burner line. Our little phone numbers, 817-673-3704. You can send in your questions there. And then I'll start, once we get enough of those out of the way, I'll start paying attention to the room and answer whatever questions we have in the chat room. So let me pull up the old email here. We're just going to start. Unlike a large majority of the shows that we've had, these questions and answers show, I'm tripping over my words, these Ask a Tranny shows, I didn't read anything, so I'm just going right off the cuff. So let's just start with the first one and see how my improvisational skills... God, I can't speak tonight. You know why? I'll tell you exactly why. Because I've drunk myself into doing this show, because I'm tired as a motherfucker, and so I'm slurring just a little bit. We'll fix it along the way. Let's just go ahead and start off with the first question that we have. So this is from a person, the name is CoolBreeze063. I'm going to have to go ahead and read this entire email and bore the fuck out of y'all just to get to the question, because again, I didn't do my research. We're just, we're flying off the seat of our pants here, so let's see what happens. Okay, hey Jamie, great last podcast, thank you very much. When you and Ryan were talking about collaborations, he's talking about episode 28 of our flagship show, the one that just went up on, I don't know, Wednesday, Tuesday, something like that. He says, when you and Orion were talking about collaborations, got me thinking in a different direction. How about the Edge and Slash together? Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know, who hasn't seen that episode that we're talking about, it was a show about dream collaborations or dream places you could play as a musician or dream anything. If you could have anything that you wanted as a creative person, what would it be? That's what he's talking about. And he's thinking he wants to put Slash and the Edge together in a band. Bad idea. That's a bad idea. One, most importantly, is you cannot put two lead guitarists in the same room together because it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a bloodbath. Now, we kind of addressed a clash of egos when putting dream people together on the show. But we picked singer-songwriters. Like, we picked two piano singers. We put Ben Folds and Tom Waits, or another one was Ben Folds and Rufus Wainwright. I said it right this time. People that have a multitude of talent and can provide both can equally provide the meat of the performance. And so one can take on the alpha duty and do the actual song while the other one plays backup because they also have that ability. But you can't put Slash and the Edge together because there's no room for either one of those guys to do anything. So that's a bad idea. They're as great as they are at what they do, they're sidemen. And two sidemen together, no bueno. You got to put two leads together, so long as they're not explicitly leads. They need to be singer-songwriters. You can always put two singer-songwriters together. So what else did he say here? Both pretty unique sounds. He keeps talking about the bands, U2 and Guns N' Roses, or maybe Zakk Wylde, especially not. Jesus Christ. Do you want Zakk Wylde to just beat up the entire venue because you put him with another lead guitar player? No dice. Okay, so he goes on to say, what are your top 2 to 3 favorite guitarists, keyboardists, or drummers? Oh, geez. Well, that's a tough one. Okay, right off the bat, and I think I said this on a previous podcast. You'll have to search for it back in the back catalog. But Brian May is my favorite guitarist because I don't give a shit about guitar when it really comes down to it. And so I pick a guy like Brian May because he is more of a composer than he is a guitar. Now, of course, he's a monumental, classic, world-renowned guitar player. He has all those skills. But the reason why I like him and the reason why I choose him is because he is with Freddie Mercury also a singer-songwriter. Everybody in Queen was, really. So Queen is the dream group because it's made of singer-songwriter types, and whoever's taken the lead, everybody else does good enough on their secondary instrument or secondary skill and can back down for 3 minutes while somebody takes the cake, So and that's why I pick Brian May as my favorite guitar player. Not because of his technical skill, which is, of course, awesome, but because he composes and arranges and gives a shit about every tiny little nuance of what he can bring to whatever band he's in. And it's always stellar. The end result is always stellar. So, excuse me. Here, let me take a drink. Hey, for anybody that's watching, raise a glass. Yeah, we do this on every show. I drink a little bit. I'm known for it. And I'm drinking the classic Approximate cocktail, which is a little bit of Chardonnay, about 75%, and a little bit of the old Mad Dog 2020, blue flavored. And, yeah, so I'm going to take a hit of this to clear my throat. And if you're drinking, cheers. Sorry if I got any of those weird sounds into the microphone. Let's see here. He also wanted to know about keyboardists and drummers. Keyboardist? Well, that's tough. Because, again, as technically minded as I can be about music, I don't give a shit about progressive players. I really don't. You can take your Emerson, Lake and Palmers and your yeses and shove them up your ass, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to caring about the goodness of a keyboard player. They're both great bands, but I don't think of it that way. If I'm gonna pick a key, I'm gonna put old Tom Waits on the keys. At this point, if you've been listening long enough, Tom Waits, my man. I put a guy like that, a guy with character. Maybe not the most proficient keyboardist in the world. Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Ben Folds. I'd even take somebody like Billy Joel and have that be the keyboardist. So I hope that answers your question. And drummers. My favorite now, I'm a big rhythm person, and I do love me a good drummer. If I were to have my say-so, well, there's so many to pick from, and I kind of wish Orion was here for this because he is the consummate drummer. But I think I'd go with a tasty choice, not a technical choice, or not I just go with what, when I hear them, drives my imagination as a listener, not as a musician, but as a listener. And I think I'd go with somebody like Tim Alexander. Roger Taylor, obviously. So many good drummers. Not a lot of rock drummers that I would never say Tommy Lee or Lars Ulrich or anything like that. Rudimentary at best, but style to spare, and you can't let that trick you. They work well within the bands that they play in, but if you're wanting me to speak to the drummer part of them as a listener of music, yeah, I would go with like a Tim Herb Alexander from Primus. Who else? Of course, you got all your, you got your Buddy Riches of the world and classic things like that, but those answers are too easy. If you guys in the chat room can name like the dude from Porcupine Tree, Orion would kill me for not knowing his name right now. That's another one. That's great, but that's more leaning towards appreciating somebody for their technical prowess. I want somebody, if I'm going to pick a favorite drummer, it's going to be based off of what they do for me as a listener, when I could just put all the technical stuff aside, drop my role as a musician and my brain set as a musician. I think that's the first one that comes to mind. So I hope that answers your question. So let's get to the next part of this email. It says, again, I'm going to have to bore you guys and read through the whole thing just to make sure I catch the question, because this is unrehearsed. Best part of the last cast, when you guys were talking about the Karate Kid kicking Steve Vai in the head while Vi was trying to take out the leg. That was some funny shit. Well, okay, so that's a compliment. If you guys listen to episode 28, we start talking about all kinds of weird dream scenarios. And somehow, towards the end of that podcast, episode 28, you can check it out after the show, we start talking about the movie Crossroads. And we just started kind of, just as a goof, we just started mixing things up. And because Crossroads features Ralph Macchio and Steve Vai, and so we just mixed their performance up with classic scenes from The Karate Kid, because we're idiots and we're just trying to make you laugh. So thank you for the compliment there. And everybody check out episode 28. It was a fun one. We try to make them fun. Let me head down to the next email that we have. We're doing pretty good on time. I don't know that we'll get through all of these, but I at least want to get through two more before I start addressing questions in the show. So let's see here. We have a question from somebody named, and unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to say your name. One, because I don't care and it doesn't matter. And we're a small show, so it's not like you're going to be put on blast or anything. But yeah, I want a title for these things. And this guy's name is Victor Nyandika. So we'll just call you Big V. Big V asks, do you still escort? Well, I never stopped. I still do it. It's a kind of a, I don't want to say a cornerstone of my ability to raise capital for all the things that I do with the podcast and the music and the video production and the website, but all the things that require money to make run. I don't. It's kind of a weird question. Unless he's new to who I am, he should know better. I never stopped. I advertise, and I'm not fucked off or queer about saying this shit on YouTube because for all anybody knows, I'm lying. But you never know. This is entertainment. Who am I to break the fourth wall? But to answer your question, I don't know. Google me. Figure it out. What do you want from me? Let's skip on to the next email. Oh, we got a guy named Ralph Malf, spelled in all caps. Whoa, okay. Ralph Malf says, hi, Jamie. Sorry, I'm twitching like fucking Jim Norton here because I got some goddamn makeup in my eye. Doing his old squinting bit. I can't talk. I think it's time for a little more booze. Clear that shit right up. Cheers. Ralph Malf says, sorry, probably going to tread over well-trod ground here. No such thing. We're a very new show. We will go over shit again. Because you never know who's watching, and we're so early in the game, we'll happily go over old shit. Because it's still pretty much new shit. Says, but I do have a couple questions, so fuck it. I like that sentiment, so fuck it. Have you ever considered doing reaction vids or even commentaries to either your older stuff or more mainstream shit like movie trailers or other YouTube vids? I'm not a big fan of reaction videos because who the fuck am I? It's egotistical enough that I'm here doing this. Here, I'm trying to legitimately perform and put on a good show for y'all. Try to make you laugh a little bit, You see, I make fart sounds. That should put a smile on your face. But the reaction video thing, it's one of those lowest form of entertainment kind of deals. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. And the audacity, that somebody would care about your dumb as 7.5 billion people, and you expect people to give a shit about your dumb face looking at the latest Marvel movie or whatever? No, not my speed, man. No reaction videos this way. The only reason we do a video game show is because it's a goof. The whole thing is a fucking goof. We play old Nintendo games and we call it bad NES. Because we're really shitty at it. And we limit it. We put it on a timer. We limit it to 30 minutes. Like, we want to give a little something familiar, to the YouTube crowd. Kind of that flavor they're used to. Because YouTube has they have an algorithm and a way of doing stuff. And you go to their creative, like you're a creator person. And you go to their tips and hints. And it's all designed for like maximum ad revenue and a maximum search optimization. And so you find most channels do exactly the same thing because all they're doing is watching what YouTube tells them to do so they can make a little bit of money. We're more interested here in doing a real show. And so we're not going to follow those things. And so, again, we're not going to do reaction videos. Reaction videos are a time-tested moneymaker, but we find it distasteful, so we won't do it. So he also goes to say, again, I have to read these things in whole because I have no idea what the next sentence is. You come off very comfortable in your lifestyle and life choices, but if winning Powerball lotto ticket fell into your hands, relieving you of all financial concerns, I think I know where this is going, past, present, and future, what would you change in your life, if anything? You know what? Here's what I would change. I wouldn't quit anything that I'm doing. I would simply do better versions of all of it. I love working. I love what I do. I love the stress. I love the romanticism of having to drink just to get my nerves down to get on the air. It's all wonderful to me. All the bad shit's good. All the good shit's good. And I would keep doing this. I would just do it on a higher level. And, I would do all the classic things that folks say. I'd buy my mom a house. I'd do this. I'd do that. Yeah. But, yeah, if I won the Powerball, not much would change. It would just look and sound a lot better. That's all. I love what I do, and I wouldn't change it. And then I think he ends this email. He says, thanks for all you do. Your personality and sense of humor displayed on the show crack my shit up. Well, thank you. And seriously, you add that up with your musical talent, iffy, and your drop-dead hotness, iffy, you are like a living entertainment center. Well, I think that's part of my nature. If there's any one thing I think I can say with any decisiveness about myself is that, yeah, I like to entertain. Now, I can be a butt. I can be an ass. Sure. But I do. When I'm not in a fucked off mood, when I have this under control and all the millions of tiny little details that make up a person's life doesn't get in my way, yeah, I think my nature is to, try to put a smile on a face. That's all I want. And that's all anybody wants, on the receiving end. Hey, put a fucking smile on my face. So we try our best to do that here. So thank you for all of that. We truly appreciate it. Let me get to one more, and then I'm going to start to address the room because I see it going, nuts here. Hey, mouth got a little dry again. Take a swig. There we are. An old classic listener. We have I forgot what name I was gonna use for you because we're not gonna go. Oh, I believe this is let's just say Navigatorture. I believe this is from Navigatorture, or also known as Evelyn. I hope that's okay to say. There's a lot of rules with tranny folks. This is a trans person, and they have looks like 3 questions. Well, let's just start off and give the introduction. Hi, Evelyn here. I'm at Confuzzled, the UK's biggest furry convention. I'm having fun making poor life decisions. Question 1. How did you know I was a furry? Well, I don't remember actually saying that you were a furry, but if you have that memory, then I'm sure I did. How did I know you were a furry? Probably because everybody on the internet is a goddamn furry, so I just assumed if you're a part of internet culture, I'd take the shot and see if it landed. It did. You're a furry. I'm a furry. Everybody's a furry. We're all furry. We're all rubbing up on fur. Number 2, was bad an idea? What? Okay, so I assume either your phone or your keyboard was fucked up, or you were drunk when you wrote this, because I gotta fix your syntax here. Was it a bad idea? Was it of me to let a drunk beautician to give me a bikini wax? Yeah, don't let a professional do drunk work for you. Take it from me. You don't want that. I've had to fix a lot of projects for a lot of different people because I thought I was doing badass work at a time of ultimate drinking, as you guys are witnessing tonight. Yeah, don't... In fact, the only reason that you would have done that is because you were probably drinking too. And so it just probably all came out in the wash and seemed like a good time. But yeah, try not to. In a sober state of mind, don't pay a professional to do drunk work. Unless, in the rare occasion, they're known for having their best work done in a state of inebriation. But those are far and few in between. It's a good choice to just fuck off with drunk people if they're doing work for you. Number 3. I'm in bed now, tired, and showed after my day of naughtiness. Showered? I assume that you mean. Let me try to clear this up, make it concise. I have a bacon sandwich with me. What sauce would you put on it? I have American mustard and ketchup. Mustard. Every time. If that is an option, you go with mustard. And you go in little dabs. You don't slather it. You just go in little dabs. Mustard is the catch-all, complements just about everything. Not your Dijons, not your Grey Poupons, and not your fucking honey mustard, but just plain old French's mustard. That is not because, they share the same name with me. It's just because mustard, you can't put fucking ketchup on bacon? What, are you insane? Are you a stupid person? No, you can't. It's fucking mustard. And if that's all you have, just a little bit, just to spice it up. With that out of the way, let me go ahead and get to the chat room. I have a lot to go through here. We have some questions, I'm sure. So give me a second to read through these, and and we'll see what we got. Let's see here. So Navigatorture says, love the badness shows, the Nintendo shows that we do. We're going to try to put those out every Wednesday. I think the anchor point is where those shows are going to be. Thank you. We have fun with those because they're from our age, the NES shows. Those are games that we grew up with. And it's not really a nostalgia thing. Again, it's kind of a cynical way for us to play to the kids that like the playthrough shows, the video game shows, which is a huge thing in today's culture, which we really don't give a shit about. So it's kind of a joke for us to do them, but I'm glad that you like them. Follow us along with the joke. Okay, so it is Evelyn. That's how I'm going to refer to you from now on, is Evelyn. Because you got too many names, you fuck. Let's see. Oh, hey, Brett Wendell. Brett, you're in the room. Hi. This is a listener that keeps coming back for the show for God knows what reason. Let me see what Brett says. Or Brent. Brett? I just caught it. I was calling you Brent on past shows. It's Brett. Okay, so sorry for that. Ever tried vaping instead of smoking? I'm trying to kick the habit. Yeah, actually I have. For a good, 6 months, about 2 years ago, I got heavily into vaping. Not because of the fashion or the fad of it or anything. It was for the same reason that you're thinking of doing it. I was trying to find some sort of way to wean myself off of smoking. And so any option looked good. And so I did. I tried vaping. Here's the deal. Look, the ultimate thing to do is to just fucking quit. And I know that's the hardest thing in the world. But I say that to preface this. I am smoking. You see me lighting these things. These are cloves. And they're Dejarum Blacks, vanilla flavored. They come, I think 12 to a pack. And they smoke you treat them like cigars. They're more for flavor, not so much for inhaling. And I've been using these for, I'd say about 3 years now to wean myself off of a horrible fucking cigarette. Your classic Marlboro or Marlboro 100s. Your Marlboro Reds or your Marlboro 100s. That's what I was smoking for 16 years. And I'm using these, and I have been, and I'm not doing a good job of it, but I haven't smoked a fucking Marlboro in almost 4 years now. But I use these because they last a lot longer. You don't inhale them as heavily. And when you're done with one, you're done. You don't want to pick another one up. Yeah, you can't chain smoke them. Now, I do it on the show because, production value. Smoke and fire is fun for the watching audience. Yeah, as you see. But outside of that, no, there's a good, nice space between each smoke I take, and that helps. It's not the best in the world. I shouldn't be doing it at all, but that's what I'm using to wean myself off of it. I tried the vaping. It's a simple process, the vaping, but it takes work. and it is a hobby, and there's a whole like culture built around it, and I spin too many plates. I can't take all of that in the back of my head and try to keep up with my vaping exercises just to get myself from stopping smoking fucking marbles. So no, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. You get to spend a lot of money. You get to do a whole lot for a little bit. It's not worth it, money wise. I mean, if you're like, you know, financially secure, I don't know, do whatever the fuck you want. But I wouldn't recommend the vaping. I wouldn't. A, it doesn't work. B, you're one of those douchebags if you're even caught with it. You know, you don't want to be one of those guys. There's a whole group of idiots that took vaping and made it their own thing, and you're going to be identified with that. You don't want that shit. So let me move on to another question. I hope that helped. Or if it didn't, you know, I don't know what, fucking sue me. Thanks for listening, Brett. Let's see here. Let me get to another question. Let's see. Oh, we got some things about furries. Evelyn says, yes, furries are a plague, and we all know it. You know, it's just another fetish that has been brought to light, and because it's so novel, it's been brought to the world's stage, or at least internet culture's stage. The fact of the matter is, it ain't no different than a foot fetish or a, I don't know, whatever the fucking people that are like grown-up babies, or it's all the weird shit that most people have that they never talk about. It's just furries, generally, when they dress up, it's in those big fucking mascot suits, and so it's easy to peg them, you know, and go, hey, this is good for the camera, let's put our attention to that and make a mockery of these people. Well, I think the fucking suits are shitty myself. They're too baggy and big, but I do get the furry thing. Like, I get the kernel of the fetish, like why somebody would be attracted to it, but I would never put on one of those fucking suits because I also have shame in my life. Despite what you've seen me do on video, in my private, like in my day-to-day life, I have a little bit of shame, and those suits are too goofy looking. But I do have some weird furry stuff that's been but I do it in a different way. You know, I try to make it more sleek and more, I don't know, a little more anthropomorphic. You know, I try to like dive in and get to like the really root cause of the furry thing. And that's why I've done so little of it, because there's only as far as I'm concerned, there's only a little bit of room to do it really, really right. You know, you want to come as close to those drawings as you can. That's a big thing with the furries, is all the comics and drawings, you know, because it's complete, utter nonsense fantasy. And the people that put on the big suits, I don't know, that's probably more of a tactile thing. They just like the fuzz, you know. But for me, it's not that. It's the animalistic part. And so it's hard to do that in a like a real setting. It takes a lot of production work, and it's all fucking smoke and mirrors and magic, and you can only do it in pictures to do it right. So that's why I haven't fucked with it enough. But yeah, no, it's the furry thing. It's just like anything else. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be ashamed of anything you do, so long as you. It's the classic thing. What am I gonna? I'm giving you bumper sticker platitudes here. So long as you're not hurting anybody else, do whatever the fuck you want. Well, it's absolutely true. It's a platitude for a reason. So, fuck it. What's the next thing? Hope that answers your deal about... Well, that wasn't even a question. I was remarking on a comment. So, there you go. That's my opinion there. So, let's see. Actually, I bet it's hard to peg them through the costumes. Well, yeah, that's another thing you have with the... I want to get off the furry things because other people have questions. But that's another thing. It's hard to shame a furry... Sorry, I didn't mean to belch into the thing. But did it again. Hard to shame a furry because the ones that go all out and spend a lot of money on those big costumes, you don't know who the fuck they are anyway, you know? The dude you're fucking is a fucking girl, and the girl you're fucking is a boy. when you're, what is it, yiffing? You stick in your furry fingers in furry holes, but you never quite reach the fucking wet spot because the suits are too big. So let me go on here. Celicious Shauna has joined the room. Actually, I bet it's okay. I just read your thing. Navigator says sex in a. Here we are. We're still going with the goddamn furry thing. Guys, ask me some other kinds of questions. I don't want this to be the furry show. I think I've said my piece on that. Let's see. Sex in a fursuit. The name given to the sex suits is like wearing a couch. Yeah, it is. It's like fucking wearing a sofa. It's ridiculous. It's unnecessary. And I don't know. You know why I don't like it? Because it reeks of escapism. I mean, the whole thing covers you up, yet you still get to escape from real life. It's like the ultimate selfish act. I think that's why I'm turned off by it so much. That aspect of the whole furry thing is it's afraid people still trying to get pleasure by not earning it. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but anybody can get $300-$400 and purchase their way out of facing reality. Does that sound like an asshole? Do I sound like an asshole saying that? Because I think that's the case. I could be wrong. I don't know. Never wore one of those things. Never wore one of those things? Like werewolf? Never wore one of those fucking things. I wouldn't know. But I know from the outside looking in, that's what I surmise. So, geez. Hey, look, we're at 39 minutes and almost 40 seconds. What I'm going to do, unless anybody else has any more questions, and please, by all means, I want to keep this under an hour. But if you have any more questions while I pour some funny down my throat, please ask anything. And, I mean, if you got furry questions, fine. Like I said, I'm not an authority. I'm just opinionated. But give me something else besides the furry things. Let's see if we can move this on to another thing while we still have about 20 minutes to kill. Again, smoke them if you got them, or don't, or vape them if you got them, or please don't. But definitely drink them if you got them. Oh man, that was a nice one. Actually, I'm kind of getting tired of the Approximate cocktail. I'm just too used to the taste, and it's a very tangy taste for those that haven't made one for themselves. And I think I'm done with it. Like, I got sick of it about, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and the way I started making it like better for myself was I started putting it in the microwave and blasting it for about 30 seconds and drinking it warm to see if that had any effect. Because I was drinking sake for a little while, and you drink that warm. And I thought, well, let me put the Approximate cocktail in there, see if it works warm. And it did. But I think it only worked because it was different at a time where I was starting to get sick of it. And now I'm getting sick of the warm version of it. So I think I'm just going to stick to beer. For those of you that give a shit, I'm drinking, because they're going to be a sponsor on the show, sure, Bud Light Platinum. So I'm drinking piss water, but a really good version of it. Cost $1.50 more. Let's see here. Okay, so somebody's asking, what is the Approximate cocktail? Well, for those in the cheap seats, the Approximate cocktail is you take a little tumbler like this, okay? And you throw about, you buy a really cheap Chardonnay with a really high alcohol content, something around 13 to 14%. Don't spend a lot of money on it. You're going to do the drink a disservice if you do. And you dump about 75%, about 3/4, 3 parts, 3 parts Chardonnay to 1 part Mad Dog 2020 blue flavored. You stir it around for a second, and you drink it. If it has the consistency of dirty aquarium water, you know you got the right mix. Okay, so I'm reading another question here. Again, we're at 42 minutes. We're doing really good, y'all. Thanks so much for the questions. I really appreciate it. Navic Torture says, how about we come up with MK with a MK2? MK2. What does the MK stand for? Am I just being an idiot? What does the MK stand for? In the meantime, while you answer that, Jesus sounds like paint thinner. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't drink for taste. I drink for effect. I never drink for taste. I drink because I got the same problem the furries do. I gotta get away from all this. My brain just doesn't shut up. It doesn't shut up. And I'm too poor, despite all my projects and things that I do, to afford insurance to put some pills down my skull. So what I do is I drink the pain away. Drink the pain away. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But I'm old and I don't like sweet drinks. It's just the want of a sugary taste has kind of left my palate. I have to be in a rare mood or my body has to be craving sugar when I haven't given it any. It is a little bit essential in small doses. And when I haven't had any, yeah, I'll pick up a fucking Mars bar or something. Well, not even Mars. I'll pick up like a Snickers or something like that. Very far and few in between. So I don't like sweet taste. I just think the color of Mad Dog 2020, that blue flavor is pretty. And so I put it in my fucking deal. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Don't try to figure it out. It's just some shit that I threw together for the sake of the show. Let me see what else we got here. Salacious Sauna says, I didn't think the Chardonnay you gave me when I was there tasted that bad. Well, your tongue is dead. Your fucking tongue is dead. Woefully uninformed. Hey, I'll tell you what. We're coming up on. We got almost. Well, we had exactly 15 minutes left to round out this show. So, woefully uninformed. You're new here. Why don't you just just grab it out of your ass? No holds barred. There, you can say whatever you want. You ask me whatever question you want in the world, and I'll answer it, and then we'll fucking wrap this fucker up. No, not a whole lot of people drink Chardonnay often. It's basically a table wine. It's just for looks, basically. But I drink it because it's cheap and it comes in high alcohol volume content. Did that make sense? Whatever. Woefully uninformed, you there? I'm going to tell you, your question is going to be the last question. You're official. You're now officially a part of this show. In the meantime, while we're waiting for Woefully Uninformed to get over their stage fright, let's see if there's anything I missed here. Well, maybe this is a good time to alert you guys of all the other shows. For those of you who are new, we're really trying to fill in the 5-day work week. So Mondays, if we get there on time, I make no promises. Again, I drink. But Mondays, we should be posting the flagship show, the official Approximate podcast. That's an hour-long show, or thereabouts, where we actually write it out and do it, and we record it ahead of time and then post it on Monday. Tuesdays, you're going to get Orion's solo show called the 900. It stands for 900 seconds, which is approximately 15 minutes. Well, it's exactly 15 minutes, but the show is approximately 15 minutes. And it's basically a journal entry kind of show. And he has a lot of neat and very serious things to talk about. On Wednesdays, it's going to be the Nintendo show, Bad NES. On Thursdays, with any luck, it's going to be The Void. That's my 15-minute kind of journal entry show. And then on Fridays, we do this. And then on the weekends, fuck y'all, we need the rest. So that's that, just so y'all know. And we're going to, we're doing our very best to try to keep to that schedule, but we're still working on it. Just be patient with us. Let's see. So, Woefully Uninformed says, okie dokie, I got nothing. Go to, well, shit. Nah. I'll tell you what. Here, let me spark you. Think. Oh wait, did you got one? Do you got one? Let's see. Okay, how much dough have you put into your vid setup? Okay, hey, there you go. No holds barred. That's a fair question. How much money have I put into my video setup? Well, I started recording things, and don't consider what you see here as part of the actual video setup. This is just some webcams and bullshit just to get the show going. But I started video production out of necessity in 2007. So for 10 years now, I have been accumulating, refining, learning about, and sharpening my skills with different video and audio equipment for the sake of, one, my income, the porn that I have to put together, and two, because I find it fascinating. And I think over the past 10 years, I've probably dumped about, I'd say nigh on, about 10 grand. About 10 grand experimenting and figuring out how things work. And when you say video equipment, I'm not just talking about cameras. I'm talking about cameras, expensive lenses, lighting setups, all the different weird accoutrement that goes with video production. And yeah, it's been a real trip, and I've been very fortunate to be able to spend that much. I'm starting to get to a point where $10,000, if I have my druthers, buys me just a camera body, for what I have in mind for the future. But yeah, in the past 10 years, yeah, I'd say about 10 to maybe 1,200 grand. If that number even makes sense. It didn't sound right to me, but it's probably right. Let's see here. What else we got? Because we're about to close this out. Let's see. Oh, Salacious Shauna, you're going to be in Arlington. Well, dude, all you have to do is just hit me up. To be fair, I can't promise that I'll be around, but I'm usually around. You might call on a day. Your free time might be exactly in a window where I'm doing some really heavy shit. So you're just going to have to give me some advance notice, text me, and we can hang. So just a little heads up. Let's see here. You end it, huh? See ya. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, sound all that. Yeah, sound all that. A grand year in basic breakdown. Okay, look, I think we are done for the night. We have 10 minutes left, and that's good enough for me. So I'm going to play us out with a song. Give me a second to fumble my way through this. All right, you guys ready? We're gonna play y'all out. So I'm gonna start on D. Let me find my bass hand here. Okay, there we go. There you go. Here's the thing about accordion: you can't just play it. You gotta put your hand in the little thing, or else you can't pull the bellows. Pretty, huh? I was trying to do it like strap free, and it was not working because you can't pull it back. Okay, here we go. You asked a tranny, what's wrong with you? You asked a tranny, the show is bad. You asked a tranny, don't do that. You'll waste an hour and you'll be mad. Ask a tranny. Hey, thank you guys. Good night. See us next week. All right. Fuck off. Bye. Drink something. Don't smoke. Smoke.